Hello and welcome to the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. You are joined by your usual hosts here, Josh Hartley, Ben Porter, Charlotte Porter. How are we doing?
Good.
We're all good. We're ready to talk about cartoons.
Yes. If you were listening last week, you'll know what we're talking about. We're talking about our favourite kids' cartoons from back in the day. We covered Ben's and one of mine, incidentally. So go back and listen to that. Just a reminder on the rules. We need to have watched this when we were kids.
Yep.
They need to be cartoons or / animations. None of your live actions or puppetry.
Out here, Zippy.
Get out there. No one likes you. And finally, they have to be explicitly aimed at children. So none of your Simpsons, Futurama, Family Guy, South Park like.
Yes.
So without further ado, Charlotte.
Hello.
What is on your list?
So my list.
Sorry to butt in very briefly. You didn't share anything with Ben.
Nope.
So what have we got?
So my list is quite different. I was explaining earlier that actually I didn't watch a lot of after-school television.
Right.
I tended to be out and about doing things, but a lot of the television I did watch would be in the morning getting ready for school and the weekends. So the stuff that's on at that time is very different to the stuff that's on.
I think
in
so.
the afternoons.
Most of my kids' TV viewing would have been done on a Saturday morning because I don't know whether I should put this out on the podcast, but we're going into it now. I was a cathedral chorister, so
He's a beautiful singer.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday after school, and most of the day Sunday I was singing. So I missed a lot of the after school kids cartoons, but Saturday morning was where I could watch it. So for you, similar reason.
Yes. So kicking off, the first one, and I absolutely love it, would be on at 6:15 on a Saturday morning.
I love that you can still remember the time.
On Channel 4, and I would set my alarm at 6, get up, make myself a wee cup of tea.
A cup of tea?
I was like 8 at the time.
You were thinking, hold on.
We need to talk. Yeah. We need to talk more about this.
You had no business drinking tea at 8 years old.
At 8 years old, you may as well be drinking vodka if you're drinking caffeine.
Well, I made myself a cup of tea.
I can't remember when I started drinking tea, but it was definitely not that young.
Tea.
Yeah.
I like my tea. We know this. We know I like tea.
No, it's established.
Just
it's
imagine
established.
like this tiny Miss Marple marching down to watch her stories.
So 6:15 Saturday morning, Tintin.
Oh.
I would get up every Saturday to watch
Tintin
Tintin.
and tea.
I loved
Tintin and tea. TT and tea.
absolutely loved Tintin. Hershey's Adventures of Tintin. I also kicked off my because where you became a wee bit, I became a Francophile. I absolutely loved everything French, and it's also where my love of French film and theatre has come from.
So Tintin is not on my list, and it's because I didn't watch the cartoon, but I loved the comics.
Yes.
I obviously 6:15 in the morning, I was definitely asleep even as a child. But the comics, once a week, we would get taken to the library, and probably with the intention of us reading actual books. But I would always take out comic, and it would be either Tintin or Asterix. Was there
Hershey's as well? I'm sure Asterix is Hershey's.
Well, I was going to say, was there an Asterix cartoon series? I think they did one.
No, there was.
Right, I do not remember it.
Yeah, I remember it.
I watched it, but not by choice.
Okay, right.
It was like during the wet intervals when I was at Udston Primary in Hamilton. They would pack us into this room like cattle, and they'd make us watch Asterix.
Asterix is great, man.
Yeah, Obelix was my favourite.
Obelix. this will shock you to learn, the one I loved was Cacophonics the Bard.
So Tintin, so I absolutely love Tintin. Just.
Do you have a favourite story?
Burnt Island.
Which one was Burnt Island
So
again?
I just because all the TV shows are based on the comics.
Yeah.
Each one is, and I remember the cover of the book because it's Tintin going over to this island on a boat in a kilt.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah,
yes. And
with Captain Haddock.
Captain Haddock and the Thompson twins. I absolutely
Thompson
loved
and Thompson.
The Thompson twins. They were my favourite. And Captain Haddock, Blister and Barnacles. I used to always have out with all these things, but.
I have, since becoming an adult, I don't know how easy it is to get hold of, but there's Tintin in the Congo, which is meant to be quite controversial.
Yes, I've heard of that, yeah.
So I don't know if you can actually get hold of it. It's racist.
Yes.
Pretty damn racist, apparently.
Speaking of French racist cartoons...
Okay, wow.
I watched Babar recently.
Yes.
Babar doesn't make any of our lists. No. Yeah.
With good reason.
Yeah.
Because I had quite fond memories of watching Babar.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it recently again. I thought I would like my son to enjoy something from my childhood.
Yeah.
I know he's still quite small, but he's taking a lot in. He's like a little sponge. He's learning all the time. Babar was a nice cartoon. I remember I liked that. So I put it on, and it was like, I guess nowadays you would call it like Babar's origin story, because it wasn't like, because I just remember
Babar begins.
Yeah, because I remember it
was always in the palace, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, in the TV show, it was more like this, the sort of Sopranos writing ethos, where it's like a snapshot into Babar's life. It's not like the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
But so in this one, he starts off. Like he's in the wild and his mum gets shot like in Bambi, and then he ends up in the city, but then like he starts wearing clothes and all that, and it's like he becomes the respected member of society by assimilating, but then he goes back and takes this to the elephants, and like he improves their lives by making them all like wear 3-piece suits and like building theatres and hospitals and things like that.
I mean, I'm English and I see nothing wrong with this.
Well, I mean, it's like it's very, very thinly veiled pro-colonialism stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like when Babar first came out, it was a different time.
It was,
and it has aged horribly. And I mean, like
there's a reason why they don't repeat it.
As far as the animation and all that goes, it looks lovely.
Yeah, very genteel.
Its message has aged horribly.
Yeah. So back to Tintin. Did you watch the movie that came out?
No, I refused.
You refused? It is actually really pretty good.
I was really worried that it was going to be absolute.
The animation is weird.
Right. Okay.
I'll say that because it's not animated. It's rotoscoped, really.
Right.
Like they've got live actors acting, and they've done the CG over it. But it is really good.
Okay, I will put it on the list to watch.
I would encourage you to give it a go.
Okay. So the next one in theme now, I do remember. I think I did watch some of this when I was younger after school.
Yes.
Rupert the Bear.
Rupert the Bear.
I absolutely loved Rupert the Bear.
So far, your list is very wholesome.
I know.
Wholesome.
I loved Rupert the Bear.
I don't remember an awful lot about Rupert the Bear.
I don't remember the actual storyline because I didn't realise this at the time, but it is like each episode is a sequence of a story.
There's actually a plot arc.
There's a plot, but you don't know because you always watch it. You catch an episode here, catch an episode there.
I remember watching, I think it was like a Christmas special or something of it, and the villain in it was a guy called Billy Blizzard.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The Blizzard and the Cloud.
Yeah.
And the Cloud's actually like a machine.
I didn't even realise there was like this is how little I watched Rupert. I didn't realise there was a nemesis.
Yeah.
Like a villain.
He was a little bitch though.
Rupert's great. I really liked Rupert, but I also liked it.
He dressed like an elf, Billy Blizzard, didn't he?
He did. He was like proper. But I loved Rupert the Bear. But also, I think my brother watched it, so I think that's why I think I was maybe not necessarily I was too young for it, but I watched it because he watched it.
Right. Okay.
And I loved it.
Okay.
Rupert the Bear.
That might explain why I never watched it because whilst you were younger, youngest, I was the eldest.
Yeah.
So it was my younger siblings watching the things that I wanted.
You
to
called
watch.
the shots.
I called the shots. Yeah, damn right. I wore the pants.
That didn't last long.
No, it didn't. It really didn't. It really wasn't true in childhood either, to be fair. So, moving on.
So the other one, I would always get up at 6 o'clock to go to school because we went to school.
Did you have a cup of tea?
in another town. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Had tea
Have
with
a cup of tea.
my
have a
bran
cup of
flakes.
tea.
Thank you very much.
Hold on. How old were you when you were eating bran flakes?
Oh gosh, Ben, what is your problem?
Right, hold. No. I'm with Ben on this one. Right, what child eats bran flakes? I eat fruit and fibre.
I would like to
but not by choice.
No.
Yeah, right. It's like I'm an adult now. I guess I have to eat fruit and fibre.
I ate the only cereal we had.
Okay.
I didn't have a choice in the shopping list at that point.
You had the choice in the tea.
The tea's nice.
Yeah, tea
I
is
like
nice.
tea.
But not when you're 8.
No.
Yes. But what else? Mum and Dad didn't have any. We never had any fizzy juice. Rarely had any diluting juice.
Mm-hmm.
You're making me feel bad now.
What?
I feel like you missed out on.
No, I've made up for it since. Trust me.
Next, on the next Unlucky Frog off-topic episode, we're going to make Charlotte eat all these kids' cereals and review them. But now, we're on cartoons.
And I remember from when I was in primary school going into high school, I can't remember which channel it was, maybe the BBC ones, they did a full rerun of all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, including the really obscure ones like Captain Caveman.
Captain Caveman, yeah, I remember that.
But my favourite one, without a doubt, is Wacky Races. I love Wacky Races.
I was actually very close to putting Wacky Races on my list as well because I caught it at the same time. I didn't in the end because I didn't watch that much of it, and there's a lot of the Hanna-Barbera ones I was thinking of putting on my list, like Scooby-Doo as well. Scooby-Doo's great. But
I hated Scooby-Doo.
Why did what?
It was. I mean, I've already explained this to you.
Yeah, but explain to the world
for the benefit of the tape. Right, I remember I'd be sitting down to watch cartoons, and when you saw it was Scooby-Doo, even as a child, Scooby-Doo, right? I remember even when I was really small being annoyed at how formulaic Scooby-Doo was.
You just sat there as a child going, well, this plot has holes everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Fred would always sneak off with Daphne.
Aye, yeah, do their thing.
Velma would lose her glasses, and Shaggy and Scooby would eat a bunch of stuff, and then they would incompetently happen upon the villain or the monster.
Yeah.
And it was always the Janny, and he would always have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Do you know what
and they'd have the chase where it's just the same background repeated over and over.
But there was something charming about it, I thought. And actually, later series did get more complex. For the start, they actually went into the paranormal, because you had the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, which was actually them ghost hunting, which was weird.
Also just wanted to punt Scrappy.
Yeah. Right, well, if there's anything that we can all agree on, is that Scrappy-Doo was an awful idea. Yeah. Right? Agreed?
Yep.
Little
Agreed.
bastard.
Agreed. But Wacky Races, though.
Yes. Possibly as formulaic.
Maybe. I don't know.
Dick Dastardly always goes out of his way to try and...
I was always rooting for Dick Dastardly.
But he never, ever made it.
But it's that way, but it's like, if you would channel all of this effort into just racing legitimately...
The fact of the matter is, he had to get ahead of everyone to set the trap to stop them from winning. And it's like... You could just keep going, Dick.
Just keep going.
You could just win.
Yeah, you could take this.
So it was I was always oh come on, what are you doing?
But my favourite car was the Anthill Mob.
Was it with that? Because that's what I was going to ask. Is like, who are you in Wacky Races?
I'm the Anthill Mob.
You're the Anthill Mob.
I love them. I love their wee legs just coming out when the car would go into the water and they would just be like...
My personal favourite was Professor Pat Pending.
Oh, yes.
I quite liked his gadgets. I thought that was cool and genius. Ahead of his time. But Peter Perfect was annoying, though.
Oh, yeah.
Who is Peter Perfect?
I mean,
he's Peter Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, for a start, he's the kind of guy who goes around calling himself Peter Perfect.
And him and Penelope
Pit Stop.
Pit Stop.
Was it not Pit? Was it Pit Stop?
Pit Stop. Yeah. They two would always sort of like.
What was her car called?
The Pink Pussy.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, it was a simpler time. It's a simpler time.
But on the topic of Wacky Races, just because it came back to me and I'm now ashamed of myself, I think the thing that I absolutely loved as well was Catch the Pigeon.
Catch the pigeon, catch the pigeon, catch the pigeon, catch the pigeon.
I think Muttley was the most relatable. Just like... that's me just laughing at other people's misfortune, you know?
Yeah. But again, totally for make, because they never catch the pigeon.
Yeah, I mean, they really... The animation in Hanna-Barbera, great. The storytelling...
It was a different time, though. Like, that's... like, you watch kids' shows from, like, the 60s and 70s, and that was the philosophy of making those shows. It's like, well, we've got to make the same plot again, like, a dozen times, right? And the kids won't notice.
I did. I noticed.
You noticed, Ben, yes. But no, I think Wacky Races and Catch the Pigeon.
I would like to get my hands on the Wacky Races board game.
It's meant to be awful.
What is it?
Apparently it's
trash. No.
Yeah,
why did I just ruin it?
I know, and I kill many or not. Just saying.
So, do you think that Wacky Races somewhat informed Mario Kart?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. We've got Wacky Races to thank. Because that's it. They used nefarious means of getting advantage over one another, just like in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So that just straight up Grand Prix. I think they should do that in real life. It would make Formula 1 a lot more exciting for me.
Like Jensen Button producing a bazooka.
Just like Lewis Hamilton chucking I don't know, like a landmine on
Caltrops.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I would watch that.
Yeah. Sign me up. Anyway, before we develop, before we turn Death Race 2000 into reality, we've got two more.
Yes. So my next one. So these are a bit more modern. Rugrats.
Rugrats nearly got onto mine as well.
I love Rugrats.
Nearly got onto mine as well.
I watched a lot of Rugrats, but I didn't feel that it quite stuck with me the way that...
Yeah, I think Rugrats was probably the thing that I watched the most as a child. I think.
I watched a lot of it. It's one of these ones where when you watch the odd episode back now, and I don't know, maybe it's even stronger for you guys now that you are parents.
I've not seen it since becoming a parent.
Right, okay, but I find the mum and dad are really relatable.
It's a Dr. Lipschitz. Everything's Dr. Lipschitz. Dr. Lipschitz.
She's reading all of his stuff.
Yeah.
And the dad is just always shattered.
Yes. Yeah. We need to watch it.
Yeah. Who was your favourite Rugrat?
Chucky.
He was very endearing.
I liked Chucky.
You were always rooting for Chucky.
But actually, Lil and Phil.
Lillian,
Philip.
Chucky was like a typical ginger in a lot of ways, wasn't he?
Quite nervous.
Had nothing going for him. was like a born bully victim.
I think not that she is a nice character whatsoever, but I think Angela is Angelica is
absolutely
awful, but the perfect toddler.
Yes.
I see so many kids just out and about behaving just like her.
Yeah.
Like, but that's what toddlers are. They're just pure. They're the id. Like it's me, mine. You know. No, Rugrats was.
Do you know what I liked about the way that they did the whole Rugrats franchise? They did the first movie, and the big thing about it was baby Dylan being born. It was Tommy's little brother, but he was actually in the series thereafter.
Yeah.
Because you know, a lot of the time they'll do a movie and then like it really doesn't have anything to do with the overall world.
Yeah, it just doesn't change anything.
But they actually made that like a big event in the life of the series, which was neat. And what I really liked was Tommy looked like his dad and Dylan looked like the mother.
Yeah.
The pickles, wasn't it?
The pickles. Pickles. Did the same animators go on to do the Wild Thornberrys?
Yes.
Because it's a very similar style.
And there's another one that I'm about to mention as an honorary mention in that same school of animation
I know what it is.
that I think is pre Dexter's Lab, just the sort of period before that. Real Monsters.
Oh yeah,
I loved that. I absolutely loved that. I loved the wee drain pipe.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like as far as the timeline goes, it was a bit ahead of it, but obviously, like they were both Nickelodeon, so it was.
But you can
like
see
the other big kids.
I kind of feel as if it kind of crosses the divide between Rugrats and Dexter's Lab, because the art style becomes a lot more defined, as much as it still has the drawing style of Rugrats. Its colouring and its actual art style is changing, becoming a bit more.
I remember the colouring of Rugrats was really weird. Lots of purples
and greens and oranges. I think though it's as a mother, you'll notice that most of the toys that we have are that colour.
Oh, good lord,
So
I'm looking around now and good lord.
Rugrats uses a lot of like pastel colours as well, which are associated with babies.
Yeah.
But also the way that Rugrats was all animated, you felt like you were seeing the world as a baby, because everything looked big and surreal.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing it for the first time. You know that they were really clever in hindsight in the way that they.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because you were at the baby's level and everything was huge. Yeah. So
the other one I had to mention again, same lines going along. Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold. Growing up on the tough streets of whatever American city it was set in, you watch that back as an adult, and he had it rough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What happened to his mum and dad? Explain that.
Don't know.
So Hey Arnold, if you never watched it as a kid. He was a kid. It was about his adventures with his was it high school or middle school?
I don't
middle
know.
School, I think it would have been. And him and his friends living in a very much inner city environment. He lived in a tenement with his grandparents. And
it was like a boarding house, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they had all these other characters living in the boarding house as well, which was He was broke.
Stark contrast to Rugrats as well, because it's like they're in the suburbs.
Idyllic suburban life, and this was like really. We're getting really deep into this, but Hey Arnold was great. What was it? Helga. Olga was it? I'm just getting all the names wrong.
No, because one's a sister.
One's Helga and one's Olga. I can't remember
which was which.
The one of them fancied Arnold, but like acted
Pataki.
like
Helga Pataki.
Yeah, and always acted like she hated him for some reason. I was kind of like, no, just
fess up.
Yeah, just fess up, and it'll be all right. I was kind of rooting for her in that respect.
Do you remember they had that creepy little pal, the wee guy?
Oh, with the tiny glasses and braces,
like Binky or something. And he would just appear, and there was one where they were out on like one of the islands, and because they obviously, I mean, whatever American city, like for me, I think it was supposed to be like New York.
Yeah, I think it certainly looks like New York to me.
So you had all the little islands and all that were surrounding it, and New York has got all these urban legends, and they're I can't remember the name of it, but there was one about an asylum,
right?
And they've got all these different stories about it, the kids and all that. And obviously, kids being kids, they go out to explore it, to scare the crap out of themselves. And there's one episode where they're exploring this abandoned facility, and they hear all these creepy noises, and it transpires it's their mouth breather mate lurking about in the dark. And they're like, Becky, what are you doing here? And he's like, something.
Is that end episode?
It was like, as weird as he was, like we all knew a kid like that.
Yeah.
There's a kid in
And
my
if you
school.
didn't know them, you were that kid.
Exactly.
Oh wow. Okay.
There was a kid in my school that shall remain nameless, who reminds me of Binky.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
And he used to put lit matches in his mouth.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, he would.
I mean, I think growing up, we all knew a pyro. Right?
Yeah.
We all knew a guy who just loved setting things on fire.
Yeah.
Like,
I woke up with somebody trying to set fire to my hair once at a sleepover.
wow. Okay.
Just
Friends with them after that.
Yeah, no, it's
with a
fine.
Flintstone, just like
No, it's a deodorant and a lighter.
oh.
That's
yeah,
hardcore.
I know.
Jeez.
Just to do it to my leg.
Did you
Used
give
to,
him
like,
the beat down?
Used to burn the hair off your legs doing it. Did you do that?
Never
No?
tried
Okay.
that.
I did
Never
that.
tried that.
Cumbernauld. Say no more.
Yeah. So, Hey Arnold. Was Hey Arnold an honourable mention?
Yes.
Sorry.
So my last one. Now, I was never a big Disney fan.
Okay.
I absolutely adored Looney Tunes, Animaniacs.
Yeah, I'm glad you've mentioned Animaniacs because, see, like, as we've been going through this, I just thought to myself, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, and Freakazoid. The three of those cartoons, which
Yeah.
I think we can lump it because were they not
Pinky and the
back?
Brain's in.
They featured as part of
Yeah.
Animaniacs first, and then they got their own show.
Yeah.
But am I right in saying did Steven Spielberg have something to do with them?
I had no idea.
I'm pretty sure he was like an exec producer for those shows.
Steven Spielberg was often like a guest character on them.
He
Yeah.
was. Yeah, he was.
Because they confront him and they ask, "Who's your favourite?"
Yeah.
I remember that.
The Animaniacs lived in the Warner Brothers
The tower?
water tower,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which is an actual thing,
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the way. In the Warner Village,
Yeah.
they've got the tower.
Oh yeah.
But the Animaniacs, they lived in it. And I remember watching an episode where like Steven Spielberg comes to their party in their house, but like for some reason he was like morbidly obese. But, like, they had like the cast of Friends and all that show up.
Oh,
It was really
weird.
weird. Yeah.
This was all the Warner shows. Wasn't it?
The thing is, like the jokes in Animaniacs were absolutely on point as
Yeah.
well. It's an awful pun, which means I love it. It was and like Dot the girl.
Yeah.
She's dusting down this this singer, and someone asks her, "What are you doing?" Dusting for Prince. It was Prince, the artist formerly known as. Yeah.
Yes.
So what was it that you loved about Animaniacs?
I loved the fact that it was always little. I don't know what you call it, an anthology. It was always little tiny little cartoons.
Yeah.
I loved the fact that you'd watch it and you would get 3 different things. Because normally 3 little clips, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I think my favourite one was Goodfeathers. Of course, being far too young to have actually watched what it was based off, Goodfellas, but but I still knew the mafia tropes.
Yeah.
So that was one of my favourite ones. But
Pinky and the Brain.
yeah, Pinky and the Brain's classic.
I can't remember the squirrel, the female squirrel.
She was an old lady, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She battered someone with her handbag.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember her. Don't remember the
There
name.
was loads of them.
They did one where it was like they were watching a film, and it was called Jam-A-Lot, and it was about like this basketball player, but he was also a knight. So he was going like, Jam-A-Lot, I love to shoot the basketball, and then all these idols were like, shoot the basketball, and he's sitting on a horse like throwing hoops.
Well, you know, it's obviously just a fantasy version of Space Jam, which is a
Yes.
Yeah. Because I mean that came out around that time.
which is
so.
obviously a sci-fi version.
So they poked a lot of fun.
Jam-A-Lot.
They poked a lot of fun at themselves.
Yeah.
In Animaniacs.
Yeah, I really like it.
Of course, one of its enduring things is the song that helps you remember all the countries in the world.
That's right. Are you going to sing it for us, Josh?
No, hell no. I cannot remember it. But I just remember that as well.
Who was your favourite?
I mean, out of the sketches, Goodfeathers.
Out of the Animaniacs.
Out of the Animaniacs. I can't remember. What
Wacko.
Wacko.
And Yakko.
Wacko, Yakko.
And
Was Wacko the younger one with the baseball cap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Yakko was the lean...
The leader.
tall,
The
lean one.
leader,
Yeah.
if you will. I think I'll go with Wacko. I don't
Wacko
know.
was my favourite.
They're all kind of... They go together.
Are we like the Animaniacs?
Maybe.
You're Yakko.
Wacko.
I'm Dot.
Yeah.
That actually fits really well. Oh dear. Right, yeah. Without further ado, then, have you got any others that you want to mention?
No, that's me. That's
right,
me.
well,
All good.
without further ado, onto my list now.
So one of them was Batman.
One of them was Batman. So we'll skim over that. The next one I want to talk about was one that I had on VHS. Right, kids VHS was this medium before DVDs. DVDs was this medium before Blu-rays, and Blu-rays was this thing we had before Netflix. Right, but I had a VHS that had like a compilation of kids cartoons on and animated shows, and on that you had we had Parsley the Lion and the Herbs. Which is a very old one, but great, very, very, very calm. You had Huxley Pig.
Loved Huxley Pig.
Who are you going to be today? Huxley Pig. Oink, oink.
And Seagull Sam.
Seagull Sam. Here's what I didn't understand about Seagull Sam. Right, he couldn't talk in real life.
Yeah.
But when he was in the dreams, Sam could talk. But why could all the other animals talk in real life? Because they were all animals, weren't they?
Some animals are more equal than others.
Oh, wow. Okay. Seagull's like bottom of the pecking order.
It's like...
See what I do? The best puns are the ones that take a little while to sink in.
I realised now, so maybe he hasn't realised it was a pun, and I was like, no, I've seen your face. You did that.
Do you know what? That wasn't planned. I was winging it.
Oh, shut up!
Ben is leaving.
This is my house. I'm leaving. I'm done.
So on this, I'm pretty sure it was on the same VHS. We had, for my money, one of the best British cartoons of all time, Danger Mouse.
Danger Mouse.
Danger Mouse.
In Gaelic, Donny Murdo.
Donny Murdo. Donny Murdo sounds like an Irish pop singer.
It's because of the DM.
Right,
They
okay.
couldn't change it, so it was Donny Murdo.
Right.
Which is literally Donald Murdoch or whatever.
Seriously?
Donny Murdo sings ballads to old ladies.
But no, Danger Mouse, if you have never seen it, he was a secret agent. He had his sidekick Penfold, and they lived. Their base was in a pillar box in London, and they received missions from Colonel K. Their big adversaries were Baron Greenback, this nefarious toad, definitely based on Blofeld, and Count Duckula. And who obviously got his own show eventually as well because he was that popular.
So David Jason was involved.
David Jason was Danger Mouse.
Yeah.
And I can never remember his name.
David Jason.
Yes, Sir David Jason. I can never remember the actor's name, but the guy who played Penfold was a well-known British actor as well. And basically, they would just try and out-ham each other in the episode. One of my favourite... I think my favourite episode is where Baron Greenback kidnaps all the bagpipes in Scotland to create a sonic cannon capable of, like, destroying nations. So Danger Mouse and Penfold have to go up to Loch Ness to find the source... who's kidnapping all the bagpipes off the hills of Scotland. It's amazing. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. And very, very 70s and 80s. Very quaint.
He's made a bit of a comeback recently.
Yeah, well, they've got Alexander Armstrong voicing him now. And I haven't watched any of the new stuff. Apparently, it's pretty good. So, again, though, it's CG. So I think it loses a little bit of its charm for that. But... an amazing TV show.
I liked how he had an eye patch.
Yeah.
He felt that he was dangerous.
Genuinely dangerous. Yeah. Don't mess with that mouse.
It's a bit like, do you remember the duck in Bucky O'Hare?
Oh, yes. God, what was his name? No, Bucky O'Hare was the rabbit.
Oh.
Or the hare, sorry.
He's
Dead-Eye Duck.
Dead-Eye Duck.
Dead-Eye Duck.
You did not mess with that guy.
I never watched Bucky O'Hare as a kid. It looked badass.
Yeah. Quite 80s looking.
Well, sticking with the 80s theme, then my next one is very much an 80s staple. Now, this was very nearly Transformers, but I didn't watch it that much as a kid, if I'm being honest. But I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I love and I think part of the reason I loved it is that our mum didn't really let us watch it.
Why didn't she like it?
Right. Well, I think the real reason was that let's face it, was a violent show.
Yeah.
They were slicing up robots, but they were still slicing up robots. So, I think it was mostly that. But one of the reasons she did give, I don't know if this is something we've made up about my mum. I'm really sorry if this is not something that's happened. But I'm almost certain you've said.
I think your dad's going to enjoy this episode.
And he's going to love this episode. I'm almost certain Mum once said that she didn't want us growing up believing that Raphael, Leonardo, Donatello and Michelangelo were not Renaissance artists. But the thing is, that introduces kids to those names. Okay.
It's gone through a lot of iterations, the show.
It has. I think the original is the best for me.
Yeah.
If nothing else, and we haven't talked about the theme tunes for any of these shows yet, it has got one of the best cartoon TV themes of all time.
I think Pokemon's up there.
Pokemon is up there, but
I prefer the Digimon theme.
Digimon,
Digital
monsters,
monsters,
Digimon are the champions.
Digimon is good. Like the overall Digimon soundtrack, because they had like a whole collection of songs that they used. It was a pretty good soundtrack. The Digimon movie actually had a whole bunch of really good songs from the 90s in the soundtrack.
Oh, really?
The Mighty Boss Tones were in it. Yeah, I think Fatboy Slim as well. There was a bunch of really good songs in it.
But yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, absolutely iconic for the 80s.
I remember in high school talking to a bunch of us were talking about cartoons that we liked as a kid, and I remember, because like we're saying, it's gone through a whole bunch of iterations, and we were talking about like the new version, and Usman it was quite funny because he's always quite a serious guy.
Yeah.
And he was talking about it and he was outraged. He was like, I was watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and they changed. It's like, Splinter's not a guy that mutates into this rat man anymore. He's just a rat that turns into a bigger rat.
Oh, that's rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was always that he was an old martial arts master.
Yeah. And he mutated into...
But I remember having one of the toys as well. It was a cute looking turtle that would transform into a Ninja Turtle. That was I thought that was really cool.
My mate Callum used to have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle transformer.
Ooh.
Oh.
So
like
turning
ultimate 80s combo.
Yeah, it would turn from a fire truck into fireman Michelangelo.
That's awesome. That's like
he had the helmet on and all that.
I want to track that down. Who's your favourite Ninja Turtle then? Who would you be?
Leonardo.
You're Leonardo. Okay, you're the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Raphael.
Yeah, I thought you'd be a Raphael.
Yeah.
I am of course Michelangelo.
Or the pizza.
Scran the pizza.
Yeah, basically.
Raphael's basically the Russell Crowe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Eating pizza, singing songs, and fighting round the world.
Pretty much.
So that was Ninja Turtles. Now, Charlotte, you mentioned a big part of what informed your list was when you watched the show. So this next one is very much from along those lines. This was Saturday morning, not as early as 6:15.
Because what self-respecting child gets up at 6:15 to make themselves tea?
Well, you'd have Tintin, you'd then have Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego, and then you would have something else on after it. I can't remember what it was. Oh no, Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget? Yeah. I forgot about Inspector Gadget.
And that was my Saturday morning.
Well, my Saturday morning involved this next one. This is a Disney cartoon, and it's Recess.
No, it's Disney.
Disney did Recess.
Yeah.
I think I loved it as a kid because it was really relatable, and I challenge it. You look at the vast array of characters in that show, right? I'm not just talking like the main characters, like the different tribes within the school playground. I think we could, as kids, recognise a lot of those characters. What was the name of the grass? Randall. We all knew a Randall, right?
Yeah.
Right, and like the kindergartners were mental, and you had was it the Ashleys?
Yeah.
The popular girls.
Yeah.
I think they really nailed. They really nailed like the different gangs that kids hung out in, and I think that made it quite enduring.
Is it Spinelli?
Spinelli,
The wee tomboy.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, right.
I was Spinelli.
I was Mike the little weedy guy. Yeah. I would have been Mike. I think it was Mike, wasn't it? His dad was a military man, wasn't he? Yeah. Did you used to watch it back in the day?
I did. Yeah. I did. There's 2 episodes that really stick in my head. There was one where Speedy the hamster died.
Oh, yeah. And they uncover that actually Speedy has died several times and that the teacher's been able to cover up for it each time.
But
wow.
Unfortunately, it was because the kids would take turns taking Speedy home. Mm-hmm. But in this instance, Speedy died. I think, was it maybe Mikey took him or something like that? He was a sensitive soul, Mikey. I
can relate.
Yeah. But the that was quite, as a kid, quite hard hitting. And then the other one that I remember was the leader guy, was it TJ?
Mm-hmm.
And Spinelli decide that for science they will kiss to see what the big deal is.
Right.
You remember that one?
Vaguely. What was the outcome of it?
The outcome was that they didn't feel any different.
Okay.
But because adults made such a big deal about this, they were expecting it to be this life-changing event.
Ah.
And it wasn't really.
Again, we're getting remarkably deep about kids' TV.
Yeah.
Recess was fantastic. Of course, featured. Did you remember Dig It? Dig It was the sort of.
It was where Fern Cotton started out.
God, it was, yeah. And then I always had a spaniel on for some reason. That was right on before SMTV, which was like the superior. So, what would you call those TV shows?
Saturday morning shows.
Yeah. Do they still exist?
Well, you could used to have Alive and Kicking.
Live and Kicking was BBC. SMTV was ITV.
You had Fully Booked.
Fully Booked.
Oh, yeah. With the Highland Cow
I was
puppet.
in Fully Booked once.
It was shot in...
Wait, what? Oh. Sorry, what?
I was actually filming for a Gaelic television show called Gianish, where they turned my head into a fish at one point. Anyway.
Hold on. What?
Because Fully Booked was filmed in the Glasgow BBC,
Queen Margaret Drive.
BBC studios, and so they took me in, and Madonna was there, and I ran past Madonna on the street. I'm sure I've told you that.
No, I did not know you were
just casually past Madonna.
I did not know that you passed Madonna in the street. That you were on.
She asked me if I was Zoe Ball.
Wow. I don't even know. I don't even know what to make of that.
Obviously,
I didn't know you'd met Madonna.
Oh no, it was. I didn't meet her. She was coming past me. She obviously knew I wasn't Zoe Ball because I was 12.
Yes.
I'm not a Zoe Ball, but I think she was being polite. And she was like, "Are you Zoe Ball?"
Oh, bless her.
And I went off.
my opinion on Madonna has increased slightly.
That's really sweet, actually.
Yeah. But no, so you weren't fully booked.
Yeah, in the audience.
And your head got turned into a fish for Gallic TV.
Yes.
Right, okay.
For the sake of Gallic
I was
broadcasting.
on a show called Janish.
I will never understand Gallic TV.
No.
Everything I
will never
hear about it is
understand Gallic television.
bizarre.
I don't think even the Gallic community understand Gallic TV.
I know that not Gallic TV, but my dad will sometimes watch the rugby, and it will be in Welsh. That's like the worst experience.
See, just to give you an idea of how much times have changed, I have a customer who's from the Highlands, and he was telling me that he asked when he was at school if he could learn Gaelic.
All right.
And his teacher said no, because it is a dead language that is only of interest to people with subversive tendencies.
Subversive tendencies?
Yeah.
But on that note, a shout out to Peter Hopkins, who is learning Gaelic. I met up with him through the week, and we had a chat about learning Gaelic.
Yeah.
There we go. Good on you, Peter.
So you can freely do it without people fearing that you have subversive tendencies
Exactly.
now.
Though Peter might have subversive tendencies, I'm not 100%
Unrelated to his desire to learn Gaelic, though.
Yeah. But yeah.
Possibly.
See his love for Arkham Horror, you have to expect there's something.
Is he basically going to put it into practice when he's going to play a character that's talking in tongues?
It could be. It could be.
I've just offended a good chunk of our audience there, but moving on. So, Recess was a Disney cartoon, and my last one is going to be absolutely no surprise to anyone who knows me. DuckTales is the greatest kids cartoon ever created ever. And I will fight anyone who disagrees with me.
So we're going to be fighting.
Oh, no, I can't fight you.
Taking off the gloves.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely... for me, DuckTales, it's a great, high adventure sort of cartoon.
Similar beats to Tintin, then?
Kind of. A bit more fantastical than Tintin.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're talking ducks, but they also go into space. Well, Tintin goes into space, mind.
Yeah, it does.
But it is definitely more, fantastically based than Tintin. The one interesting bit of trivia about DuckTales is obviously DuckTales is very much inspired by things like the Indiana Jones movies, right? But the Indiana Jones movies...
Even the font for DuckTales was quite...
Well, it was a carbon copy of the Indiana Jones font. But Indiana Jones, Steven Spielberg took influence, bizarrely, from the original Adventures of Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge comics.
Oh, wow.
That Disney used to do in the 1950s. To the point where, see the opening sequence of Raiders of the Lost Ark? The famous one where he's running away from the boulder out the temple with the treasure, is almost directly lifted from a Donald Duck comic.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of it all came full circle. Mm-hmm. But I loved it. It was... and they've done a reboot of it, and in a bizarre booking of the trend, the reboot is actually... I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was actually really fun.
I've still not seen it, but I'm planning to freeload on my sister's Disney Plus account later this month when that launches. Yeah. Be watching that and The Mandalorian at last.
The Mandalorian looks amazing.
I'm just saying, I don't think I ever saw DuckTales. What I saw was Rescue Rangers.
Well, do you know what? Funnily enough, I've got noted down as honourable mentions because I put them in the same category as DuckTales. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Just we saying Indiana Jones because there was one that was dressed like Indiana Jones. That's why I was like, wait.
Aladdin. The Aladdin TV series was pretty good. As far as Kid Josh remembered, anyway.
I had the game for the Sega.
Oh, that was so hard.
Trying to get through Agrabah.
The Lion King game was solid as well.
Yeah, I saw that. And also Tailspin as well, when Baloo the Bear from Jungle Book formed an international freight company on using a water-based biplane because why not? But yeah, that's our kid TV shows. Guys, thank you very much for listening to this. Now, I want to hear. Oh, Charlotte's looking pensive.
Another one that came into my head there.
Okay.
The raccoons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like the raccoons.
Cyril Sneer.
Yes.
What was Cyril Sneer?
It was an aardvark.
They had a weird nose, didn't they?
It was an aardvark.
Do you not think Cyril Sneer had a bit of Jimmy Savile vibe to him? The cigar, the hair, yeah, the creepiness.
Yeah.
Have I just ruined something?
the sense of being untouchable.
Yeah, it's all there. It's all there. Raccoons. Wow. I watched the raccoons. Yeah. It was all right as far as I remember.
That guy, like Bert Raccoon, wasn't it? He was always coming in and like wrecking his mates' lives, wasn't he? They're just like,
why do we hang out with you, Bert?
and he wore like that football jersey, didn't he?
Yes. Or was it ice hockey? It kind of looked like an ice hockey jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because they were in the Everglades, which was the southern US states.
Is it?
The Everglades? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our kids' cartoons of yesteryear. So, dear listener, if you have endured this far, we want to hear what yours were. Did we miss any like absolutely key ones that you're like screaming at your listening device at that we've overlooked? Are any of our suggestions trash? I don't think so, but you can try and prove us wrong. But yeah, until next time, and let us know if you like this off-topic thing that we've done. It's been quite fun. Like, not talking about board games, actually.
It's still geeky, so...
Yeah, exactly. Still counts.
Hopefully it'll be of interest to someone.
Yeah, I'm sure. But anyway, guys, look, thank you very much for listening. Until next time, take care.
Bye.
Bye.